roasted coffee. So let's start off by dealing with some junk mail and other important documents. Kristin MacRae is here getting us organized and energized. She's with Organizing in RI. Kristin, hey.
Hi, Molly.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for joining
You're
us.
welcome.
I'm sure so many people's tables, junk drawers, floors are just, because you have the mail slot and stuff just gets thrown in.
Yep.
Stuff looks like this. And we've referenced paper so many times on this show. And you think about it and you're like, no, everything's online, whatever. But like, it happens. We get paper.
Yeah, it still comes through the mail. We still have it, and we have to have a way to control it. And probably 95% of the people that are disorganized have issues with paper. So if you're having issues, you're not alone. Just know you're not alone. I know you're overwhelmed and stressed out, but there is a way to handle it and get it under control.
So you're going to help us do that today. And you know what I was thinking about when we were talking about this? I'm like, totally. And I was thinking, I have stuff under control, but there's certain things that you don't think about when it comes to paper. Like maybe you have prescriptions, and so there's like the receipt.
There's so much.
Receipts, there's prescription envelopes, there are the bills. Even if you get stuff online, sometimes you still get that. There's so many documents, and it's like, what do we do with that?
There's so many different facets to it. There's so many different types of mail that come in. And if you don't have that great system in place, it's going to be chaos. Chaos in the house if you don't have those good systems in the place. And again, we talk about systems all the time. It's all about the systems. Same way with paper. It's about the systems, and we're going to talk about that.
So we're breaking this down into 2 elements.
Yeah.
So don't get stressed out. If it's overwhelming, don't worry. We're breaking it down into 2 topics. So we're getting to the systems next week, and this week we're just going to deal with the heaps. Breaking it down.
Yes.
So we have just kind of a random pile of stuff that we accumulated, and this is so funny because she's so organized. Kristin was like, I don't have any paper laying around. Find your own stuff. Okay, so let's get to it. You have 4 kind of steps, ways to decluttering paper.
Right. So if you can get a buddy or get a friend to help you do this, it'd be great because the process will go a lot quicker. And again, you want to break that process down because so many people are overwhelmed and stressed out, and they don't know how to actually tackle the project. That it's just easier to continue to function the way they are.
Yeah.
Because it's just easier to drop than to tackle the project.
Yeah.
So we want to do the process. So what you want to do is you want to start in one room. And you just want to grab one pile of paper. And I always say, if you're in the room with a ton of paper, and that's your paper room, get out of the room with the pile. Because sometimes when you're sitting in the room, it becomes, you get claustrophobic in the room, and you start thinking about everything else in the room, and you shut down. So grab the pile of paper and bring it to maybe a flat space dining room table, wherever that, maybe there's paper on the dining table. Just go somewhere else where there's a flat space where you're not going to be overwhelmed. So the process will be, you grab one pile of paper.
Okay.
Now, what I want you to do is actually just start sorting. So you might say, oh, this is going to take too long, but when you break this process down, you're not going to be so overwhelmed, and actually it's going to get completed quicker than it should.
Okay.
So you start sorting. So you have envelopes, sealed envelopes, so those go in one pile.
Okay.
Then your flyers, your newspapers would go in another pile. So as you're digging through this pile, you're categorizing. So then you have a magazine, that goes in another pile, and so on and so forth. So then you have that finished pile, and now you have these different categories. So what you can start doing is taking another pile and doing the same thing. And I don't even want you to start opening anything yet, because the minute you start opening, you're going to get distracted. So just keep categorizing. So then you're going to put our
bills and important documents down here. We're putting important stuff down there.
Okay, so then you have your newspapers.
So because we do not want to touch the important stuff because that will distract.
Yeah, so I say now you have your flyers and your newspaper and things. So what you want to do is, now it's much easier to actually go through these piles when you don't have a important paper in the middle of it, or something else like a magazine or something that you wanted to keep, whatever, something important. So now you have these papers, and now it's so much easier to decide what to toss and what to keep. So you just start with this, and you go through toss, keep, toss, keep. So I do this because you may be saying, that's going to take so long, but you know what, it's going to keep you on task, and it's not going to distract you, because the minute if you have other things mixed in here, and you stop to think, oh my God, there's an important thing in here, what do I have to do with this, where does this get filed, now what, you got distracted, you might have gone to another room to throw that bill in the other room, and then you can come back and you've lost focus. So again, I say to do this way because you're going to stay on track and keep yourself focused, so that way you can move through this quickly.
Okay.
Because the last thing you want to do is let this take all day. You don't want to. So then you're probably going to get rid of. You're going to find flyers and things that are expired. So this is going to go immediately in the trash or the shred or the recycle bin. So then that's taken care of. Now you have your.
Okay, so we don't want to. Well, actually, okay. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring something up. So
Yeah.
say you have the circulars.
Okay.
Do we take the time and then at that point say, oh, I'm clipping?
No.
coupons?
Here's what you want to do.
This is where we get caught. People get caught up and say,
All right.
oh, okay, so I'm going through my mail, rip stuff out, I'm clipping my coupons, and then that gets into the whole process. Now I have.
Yes, you don't want to
have individual. Now I have these flyers, and then that takes
Right.
the whole thing. Oh, look at it's on sale. I have to go grocery shopping this week.
All right.
And then I start making my grocery list. Like, I mean, that happens.
So what you want to do is, so as you're tossing and keeping, you're getting rid of the toss pile. Now you just have that keep pile,
Okay.
which is going to be this kind of stuff.
Okay.
Then you can go through and say, all right, well, how do I want to function with this keep pile? What am I cutting out? What am I doing? But you're getting rid of that toss pile first.
Okay.
And
So
then
put
go
it
through
in
your
a
keep
separate
pile. Yes, so
pile.
keep your keep pile
And
separate.
don't clip while you're doing that.
Right. You save that for later and then
Okay.
go through it. So that's going to keep you on task to keep you going.
Okay, so don't clip, don't
No,
say like I
no.
want those rewards, whatever.
No,
Put
you're
it
gonna
in
get
a keep pile, and this is all the tops.
You're going to get distracted and lose focus. So
Okay.
once your keep pile's done, then you can go through and
I
do what
wanna-
you need to do with
I
that.
want to read that later. This is all recycled.
All right. So then you have your, we'll call this important paperwork, things that are sealed up. So what I want you to do, and again you might say, oh, this process, it's too long. I just want you to slice every piece of paper, get a nice letter opener and slice. Now all your mail's sliced. Now next I want you to take, once that's all done, once that pile's done, I want you to take everything out of the envelopes and throw the envelopes away. Again, you can see it's a process. It's not just about, I'm going to open this, then I'm going to look at it, what am I going to do with it? No, because you're going to get distracted. So I want you to slice everything. Now you have your slice pile. Now I want you to open everything. Get rid of the envelope. So now you have a pile of unopened mail. So again, I think about efficiency, productivity. So I'm thinking,
let's do that.
So I'm thinking you're going to be more efficient by slicing everything and then by opening everything.
Okay. Recycle.
And then you throw those. Yep.
Recycle.
So now you have just this pile of opened mail that you can go through. So you're not going to be distracted by opening, and so it's all about efficiency. So now I have this. I'm going to look at it. I'm going to say, you know what? It's something coming up. I'm keeping it. So it goes in your keep pile.
Okay.
You're going to say, oh, it's trash. It's going in my trash pile. Oh, it's shred. It's going in my shred pile. So now, again, you have a keep pile. That's all you're going to have left, the keep pile. And then you're going to decide, all right, what do I want to do with this? I'm going to make categories. So you're going to have categories. You're going to have a whole pile of paper here, and you're going to have bills in that pile. You're going to have events in that pile. You're going to have, I don't know, you can have all different things in the pile, anything that comes in that's open. So now you categorize it. You might have your bills for the phone company. You might have bills for...
Let's say this is our bill.
Yeah, you might have your bills. So then now you have all your categories spread out, and now you can create your systems going forward from those piles. So it's a process to actually get you there. So many people get overwhelmed because they don't know where to start, and they don't know to keep make those piles, stay focused and on task. They can't get past that, but you have to break the process down and actually tackle it this way, or you're never going to complete the project. So this is the number one thing, is making those piles, then going through and making your categories, deciding what to do with them after that. So toss and keep first, then go through and categorize, because again, we don't want you to get distracted. That's the worst thing we want. Is
And then it never gets done.
Yeah. So
It never gets done. Okay, so then we found out. So this is our bill.
Yep.
This is our event that we have coming up. Where do we go from here? Do we put this on the fridge?
So that's when we start creating our systems. So
And we're getting into that later. So
we don't want to get too much into that, but just we want to talk about the process. So the other thing is, after you do one pile, go and grab another pile, and just keep grabbing piles and going through the same process until you have no more paper piles. So you can't create your system until you've gone through every single paper pile in the house.
Okay.
And know that you can't create these systems too. You can't get on track with your paper until all the clutter's gone, because we want you to get started with a fresh outlook in your house with paper, because it's hard to start new when you know there's paper in the drawers and paper in the bedroom.
Paper everywhere.
So you really have to tackle this project head on and grab all the paper in the house and start room by room going through it.
And do you suggest going through, so say we have paper in our bedroom, in our office, on the kitchen table, in the junk drawer, do you suggest starting with just one room at a time? Or
One
do you
room at a
think
time.
go grab everything
No.
and make one humongous pile?
No, start in each room.
Okay.
That way, in case you want to finish the bedroom, you can finish it and be done with it and have all your piles still laid out, categorized. Keep those piles categorized.
Okay.
But don't don't go around the house because you're going to get overwhelmed in every room, and then you're going to start tackling other things that you see. So just start in one room, keep it categorized out, your keep and toss piles, get rid of those, and now you just have your keep pile, and just keep adding to that from each room that you head in.
Okay. And you said, so let's talk about the categorized key pile, and without getting too much into system, but you said develop a filing system for your key pile.
Yes, so you're going to develop the system from your keep pile. So you're going to find that you're going to have bills, and you're going to have car payments maybe, and insurance payments, and even if you're not, if you have everything electronic, there's still going to be paper that comes in the house. You're still going to have it.
Say so we have we're discount shoppers, and this is our kids in this magazine.
Yeah, so you want to, that's memorabilia. So you're also, that's a good point.
Memorabilia.
That's a good point.
She knows all the terms. Good job.
That's great that you brought that up. Memorabilia, you're going to find memorabilia. If you don't have a good system for your memorabilia, you're going to find it all throughout the house.
Yes, everywhere.
Every client, it happens all the time. So you really want to get on a good system for memorabilia. So you're going to find memorabilia in your piles. And what do you do with it? So memorabilia, have a bin for each child in your house. Have a bin for you or your husband or whoever, maybe your significant other. Have a bin, so that way now when memorabilia comes into the house, it goes in the designated bin. So it's not getting tossed in a drawer, it's not getting tossed under the bed where I find a lot, or in a spare room. So really get on track with the memorabilia. You're going to have, that will be one of your categories, and get on a good system with that. So that's one thing. It's so important to get that memorabilia organized, because it's going to end up all over the house, and it becomes overwhelming.
Yeah.
And then you want to reminisce at some point, and you're not going to be able to, because what got ripped under the bed or what got destroyed underneath the pile somewhere. So have a system for the memorabilia. Keep it in a bin labeled with each family member.
And do you think it's okay to just have like you've said so many times bin or box? Is it okay to just have a box rather? Because I feel like so many people want to have scrapbooks and projects, and then you don't always have time to get to that stuff, and so then it just doesn't get done. So is it okay to just simply have a bin, you put stuff in it, and then maybe down the road you get to those projects? Yeah. But for now, just get it into one space.
Exactly. Don't have it all over the house. Have that designated box or designated bin. It could be a pretty box, so it makes you go to it, because you know that's your pretty box that you go to. So yeah, as long as it's categorized, definitely have it in a space you can go to so it doesn't end up all over the house. But memorabilia, that's great. So keep it categorized and then designate a spot for it.
Okay, I like that.
Because you're going to find a lot of paper memorabilia,
I think that might be one of the most things that I have in my stuff that has to do with paper is just like mementos and certain things. You go on trips and you're like, this was cool, you save a map or like a ticket.
Yeah, of course.
You know, people have like stubs from stuff.
Right.
And those are the fun things you want to hang on to, and then it's like, what the heck is this ticket stub doing, you know, from this cool baseball game that I went to with my kid?
Yes, so just keeping it categorized, keeping it in a bin labeled, so that way when you're going to look for that stuff and you want to reminisce, it's in that bin and you can just pull the bin out and reminisce about it.
Okay, so we want to get, bins, filing cabinets are really good, and yeah, you said portable box.
Portable box,
And then, so stuff that you said you'd find in your piles, you can find some cool stuff in those piles.
You can find some really cool stuff in your piles.
Motivation.
Yes, I'm telling you, if you want to find some money again this weekend, you found it in your bureaus last week, you're going to find it in your paper this week. So you're going to find credit cards. I find credit cards a lot, actual credit cards. Maybe you sent away for a credit card, forgot about it, and then it came in the mail and you never opened it. So don't just feel like it's all junk, because it's not going to be all junk. You're going to have a lot of junk, but you're going to find credit cards. You're going to find reward certificates, and a lot of times people let them expire because they don't open their mail, so they could have had $20 to a store, to Macy's or wherever, and they let it expire because it got stuck in a pile. So you're wasting money by not tackling your paper clutter. You're wasting money. So you're going to find checks. I can't tell you often in businesses that I work with that a check has come in from a client and it gets stuffed in a pile in the inbox, and that's like piling up, and now there's an uncashed check sitting there where you might have called the client and said, where's that check? And they said, well, I mailed it to you 3 weeks ago. Well, it got stuck in that paper pile.
Yeah, that's not good.
So you're going to find checks. You're going to find cash.
Yay! I
have clients that have receipts. You know, you go to the market or wherever, you grab your receipt with your change and you stuff it in your pocket, you bring it home and it gets stuck in a paper pile. Well, as you're going through those piles, you're going to find cash in those piles. I mean, if you want to find some money this weekend, go through your paper.
Who doesn't want to find cash?
Right? So, what else? I mean, you name it, I found it in paper piles. So you're going to find other stuff.
The note you said was other important stuff you've been looking for. Like, oh, that's where that is.
I'm telling you, clients say to me like, I forgot I was looking for that. I forgot where I had that, and I forgot I was looking for that. And even the little kids do it. I was with a kindergartner a couple of weeks ago, and he's like, I forgot I had this. I'm like, they all say it, no matter the age. So you're going to go into that pile. You know what? Businesses, too. Missed business opportunities in those piles. Something may have come in, somebody sent you something to do business, maybe it was a good way for you to make money, and then it's at the bottom of a pile, it's expired now, you can't get that back. So businesses, too, it's important to tackle your paper clutter.
And I feel like something you said resonated with me last week is if you do it now,
yes,
you take the time now, you're going to save time in the long run.
Right.
And you said that with your closets. If you just hang up your clothes, Molly, if you just hang up your clothes now, then you're going to save time in the long run on the back end of things.
Yeah.
And so I feel like when you say that, whether you're dealing with paper, you're dealing with your clothes, you're dealing with whatever, you're saving the time in the long run. So if you just tackle the paper now when it comes in as you do it, you'll save time in the long run. And you'll find money, you'll get those business opportunities.
And once you tackle it in the moment, once you get your paper clutter handled, so now you have no paper clutter left in the house.
Yeah.
Now when your mail comes in, how many pieces of mail do you get a day? 3 pieces, 4 pieces, maybe?
Mine usually looks like this.
So tackle this.
That's tough, but we're still getting this much paper in the mail.
Yeah, so when that comes in, now that you don't have any of the paper clutter around, now think about, all right, I can just tackle this little pile and be done with it, file it away, put it on my to-do list, which we'll talk about next week, but at least tackle it in the moment, because now you know you don't have that backlog anywhere in the house.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a lot easier to handle once you tackle it.
Awesome. You're amazing. This was
you.
helpful.
Thanks.
Hopefully it was helpful for you.
Okay, next.
Yeah, we'll clean up. That's all the get rid of pile, so we can shred and recycle that. Okay, so next week we are talking about, what are some of the highlights that we're talking about?
Systems. Actually getting systems in place and maintaining those systems going forward. So we want you to test. So even if you grab a couple of piles this weekend, tackle it, and then we'll talk about how to set up those systems going forward and keeping it maintained.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So we're going to continue our discussion on paper and how to stay good. Okay, so Kristin and I are going to clean this up. I'm actually going to do it. I'm not going to make her do it because I'm the one who is throwing it over there. And we'll be right back to talk about some new programs in our community and sustainable food. So we'll be right with you as I get this cleaned up. Thanks.
Sure, yeah.